So at number 4 is a very famous 70s show, Kojak, starring the great Telly Savalas as Theo Kojak, the tough, no-nonsense New York cop who liked to suck on lollipops and quote these brilliant catchphrases like "Who loves you, baby," etc. And his kind of character transcended the show into kind of popular culture. That's such a strong character. I don't remember a lot about this show. It ran for 5 seasons from 73 to 78. I remember the iconic opening titles and music, but not really the storylines or anything, or really the cast, other than his brothers, real-life brothers starred in the show also, and he used to call them Fat. So, but I remember his character was quite short-tempered and he had a low tolerance for scumbags. He was very just, kind of honest cop, but he also had a soft heart as well. All I remember about this show is that the streets in New York at that time looked so grimy and dirty. It just looked really kind of, it had a real look about it. But a great show and a great central character. That's Kojak from the 1970s. Third place in the list is The Streets of San Francisco, starring Karl Malden, great Karl Malden, and Michael Douglas. Now, I don't remember anything really about this show other than it had a lot of location work in San Francisco. It looked great in that regard. They were always out and about. There were 2 like homicide detectives. Karl Malden was one, a really experienced one, a veteran, and he gets Michael Douglas, who is like a college graduate with no experience, to teams up with him and kind of teaches him the ropes. All I remember is, because I was young, obviously I was fixated with the Karl Malden's bulbous nose. The kind of thing you do when you're a kid, you notice these things. And Michael Douglas, I remember Michael Douglas had long hair in it. This ran for, I think, 5 seasons from 72 to 77, I believe. And I think Douglas actually left at the beginning of the last season and was replaced. But other than that, I don't really remember much about the show at all. I think it was quite an action-packed show, but other than remembering there's lots of location work and obviously the 2 leads. And apparently they became strong friends while working on this show. But that's The Streets of San Francisco.
This is Jim Rockford at the tone. Leave your name and message. I'll get back to you.
The Rockford Files.
Hey, hotshot, who are you?
Emmy Award winner James Garner stars as Jim Rockford.
Back on the case, my regular rates.
So in the second spot is a very famous 70s show, is The Rockford Files, starring the great James Garner as a LA detective who, I forgot he was actually inside. He served about 5 years wrongfully, and then he was pardoned, and he comes out and becomes this private detective. It's got a great intro to the show, and there's lots of great things about it. He's got a great car. I forget the make of the car. A great car, and remember his clothes. He used to wear these kind of plaid jackets and his black trousers. He's a strapping guy, James Garner, and in this show he's quite physical. It is quite a physical show, detective show. But I also like his character because he uses his brain rather than his brawn. He does a lot of leg work and phone work and just uses his intelligence to kind of solve cases. And the storylines are quite varied, quite mysterious in some ways. Also, another great part of the show was his father, Rocky, played by the great Noah Beery Jr. It's got a great theme tune, this show. It's just a great 70s show. I remember watching this with my dad. He loved it. And he's such a strong character, Jim Rockford, in every way. I remember he used to stay in this kind of trailer. There's like a trailer park down by the beach. He lived under the radar kind of thing, but he was always getting into scrapes. I remember that. And he would kind of put on characters and portray characters and use kind of these kind of sleight of hand to get information out of people. He would put on these kind of funny kind of characters. A great show from the 70s. That's The Rockford Files.
You pigs looking for us?
To catch the bad guy.
Get your cans out there on the street and nail this turkey.
You've got to know the right people.
Have no fear, Huggy Bear's info will be here.
And most importantly, you've got to drive the right car.
Hey, this is one quick car. Yeah, it's fast.
Look, I think you better jump. Don't be funny. Look, jump. You've been killed. You jump. I'm driving. You jump. I'll drive. You jump.
So in the number 1 spot is Starsky and Hutch, incredibly famous show from the 70s and such a cool show, probably one of the coolest shows ever, with Paul Michael Glaser and David Soul thrashing about the streets of California, I think it was, in the red Gran Torino. going through alleyways, knocking cardboard boxes around and roughing people up. This was such an action-packed physical show. They were really intense in their characters. Starsky was a kind of a veteran soldier. He was more aggressive, more kind of fiery, and Hutchison was played by David Soul, was more thoughtful, more kind of level-headed kind of character. I don't remember a huge amount about this show other than it was great, colourful, and I loved Starsky's trainers and jeans. I loved the outfits that they had. I loved the intro, the classical intro. It's just a memorable intro of Hutchison jumping on top of the hood of the car and sliding over it. They were just such cool characters, and I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to emulate them. I think Starkey was my favourite character back then, probably due to his clothes and his attitude, I think. Don't remember their boss so much, but I do remember, obviously, Huggy Bear played their snitch friend, played by Antonio Fargas, and I always wondered how he wasn't ever killed in the show, because he was always hanging around Hutch and Starsky, giving them information, and you would think the other guys in the streets would twig onto this and would have knifed him or done him in long sentence, but no, he lasted the whole show, I think. So this ran for 4 seasons from 1975 to 79, and it's just an absolute classic show, full of action, full of great scenes, dialogue, and the two characters are just great on screen together. A brilliant show.